Hey everybody, it's Paul with the SimpleDim PowerPoint plugin app here to talk with you about how we do shape arrays in SimpleDim. So this is pretty exciting. Like AutoCAD and other drawing tools have array functionality, and now you can do that in PowerPoint as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we've cracked open PowerPoint. We're going to go ahead and set our scale. Very first thing that we want to do here, we're going to say that 1 inch is equal to 150 feet. All right. Okay, so now we set the scale for the slide. We're going to go ahead and create a shape. We can go ahead and use our rectangle shape. You can use any PowerPoint shape that you want. We're going to call this, we'll call it 100 by 50 feet. So now I have my shape up here. Let's go ahead and format that a little bit so it's a little more appealing and obvious to work with. So we've created that. Now this is where when you're creating an array, like maybe you want to lay out a warehouse or have a lot of repetitive shapes or whatever the use is, but you want to create a series of something. So here we can represent maybe just a block, maybe it's a desk, maybe it's a location, maybe it's something else. Now we've selected it, we're going to go up to our SimpleDim menu and select the array option. The array option will then give us a dialog window. In this case, it was created off screen because I'm using multiple screens. That's okay. Now let's talk through this. So on the create array dialog, it says add number of rows, and then it gives me a row spacing, and then add number of columns, and it gives me a column spacing. This is the number of incremental rows that you're going to get when you create your array. So if you put 0, then you're not going to get any more rows. You're just going to keep this original shape. If you put 4, then you're going to get 4 more rows. Okay. So in this case, why don't we put 3? And our row spacing is off of the origin of the original shape. So your furthest most left and top dimension of your original shape are what the spacing is based off of. Now, if we recall, this was a 100-foot by 50-foot shape. And just for our reference, we'll go ahead and give ourselves a dimension so that we can remember that. I think that's 100 foot. And then we can actually create another dimension. Just copy this one, bring it over. And that gives us a 50-foot array. The precision may be a little off, but for our purposes today, it's okay. We're going to go back to our array menu, and now what we can say is we want to add, let's give ourselves 4 more rows, and we want a 5-foot, maybe let's give it a 10-foot difference between them, so we're going to say we want our row spacing to be 60 feet. And for columns, we want 5 more columns, and we want the spacing to be at, say, 100-foot intervals, so let's give it a 200-foot column spacing. We hit OK, and it gives us this array right here. So then what you can tell is that as we go ahead and you do your dimension, you can see that that lined up nicely with each of the corners. So you have a 100-foot gap and a 100-foot original shape. That's pretty useful. And if you check your spacings on the column, you would find those work as well. So that's pretty neat. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to actually undo all that just for our example today. Now I'm going to show you another quirk of the way that some of the other numbers on the array shape are designed, or the array command. So I go up to array. You can actually put negative numbers of columns. I think CAD lets you put negative spacing in. In this case, we say you can do some negative number of columns and rows. We'll say -3. And our row spacing, let's go ahead and give it 75 feet. And number of columns, we'll say -2. And we will give our columns a negative 125 feet, or excuse me, 125 feet, not negative. And so what it does is it uses your origin shape, and instead of rows moving down, it'll give you the rows moving up and the columns moving to the left. So regular positive rows and columns move down and to the right, and negative values move you up and to the left. So you have a little bit of flexibility in where you put your shape and how you do your array. All right. Pretty cool. And that's it for shape arrays for today. Thanks a lot.